This is Alex from phpacademy.org, and this video created for the new Boston is going to talk you through PHP while loops. Now, why do we use loops in the first place as programmers? Now, we may need to repeat a certain amount of actions a specified amount of times, and in a couple of these videos I'm going to be talking about while loops and then do while loops, and then we're going to go on to for loops as well. So what do we mean by a loop? A loop, let me just show you the syntax first of all, is for a while loop anyway, is while a certain condition is true. So we're sort of, you know, if you understand if statements, you should really understand this. We're saying while something is true, do something in here. So for example, at the moment I'm going to say echo hello, and I'm going to break down a line. So while a certain condition is true, now if I was to just pop a 1 in here, it would be a pretty bad idea, because 1 is always going to be true, as we've discussed in previous videos. 0 is always going to be false. So we can run this one. If we refresh, that's fine, nothing's happened, the page hasn't crashed. However, if we do while equals while 1, this is always going to equal true, so we're probably going to crash the page in writing hello over and over again, basically until infinity. So it's an infinity amount of times, or infinite amount of times rather. However, if we create a statement in here that allows at some point for it to evaluate to false, but while we want it to evaluates to true, we can sensibly echo this an amount of times. So let's say I want to echo hello 10 times. I can create a counter up here, and I'm going to start that at 1. Now what I want to do is I want this loop to echo, or I want this loop to execute, so run this block of code until 1 equals 10. So we're echoing once, twice, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 10 times, and then once this counter equals 10, we stop the loop, therefore breaking this block of code here, and we continue to the rest of our code down here. So if this doesn't make sense, follow along my example, and hopefully it will do soon. So we'll get rid of the condition first of all, and what I want to do is I want to say counter plus plus. Remember, this is incrementing this value each time. So now we've, for the first time probably, you may have found a use for incrementing. Obviously we can do counter equals counter plus 1, but for shorthand, counter plus plus. Now the condition will be when counter is or while counter is smaller than or equal to 10. So what we want to do is say while counter is smaller than or equal to 10. Okay, and this is basically saying if counter equals 1, run the loop. Now counter is going to equal 2 on this line, so counter will then equal 2, and then we'll run this again. It's still smaller than 10, so say hello, and now counter equals 3. So 3, this still is blah 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 all the way up to 9. Now 9 is still smaller than 10. We echo hello, we increment the counter, it's 10. Now counter equals 10, so we run this, this will equal 11. So 11, now this condition is now rendered false. It evaluates to false, so we're not going to execute this code in here. So hopefully that is a way of making sense to it for you. We're going to reset this counter back to 1, and we're going to refresh the page and see what happens. So now you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times we've echoed hello. And to prove this sort of counter method inside, I'm going to append the variable counter onto the start of this hello. So this will actually say 1 hello, and then it will say 2 hello, then it will say 3, because we're incrementing this value each time. So it's basic logic. So let's refresh the page and see how that's worked. There we are. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up to 10, and you can now see just by that example that we're incrementing the value. So the while loop will always have a condition at the start of it that will need to be evaluated before we even begin to process the block.